What would you do if you didn't know about Elijah Schaefer? Oh, shoot, not Elijah Schaefer. Well, who is this? This is Stu Burgieri and Will Whit. I'm terribly sorry. They all do sort of blend together in my mind frame. But anyway, so what would you do if you didn't know their views on climate change? However would you survive, right? These are the experts of PragerU. Do you know what the U stands for? University. Because they are surely an accredited university. They are not an accredited university. But surely they must be these experts on the matter of climate change. Surely they're not just spouting out of just random nonsense that they're just making up on the spot. No. Let us listen to the knowledge, the powerful prose that will be described to us in great detail in this 3-minute long clip on Stu Does America.
Work. Let me do one more here. Climate change. I had a friend who actually worked with us back in New York, and she's very smart and was relatively friendly. I wouldn't say a conservative, but relatively friendly to some of the conservative arguments. What she said to me one night was, "Look, why don't you want the earth to be clean? I mean, I can come with you on low taxes. I can come with you on all this stuff. Why are you anti-environment? I can't go with you there."
That's the big lie, is that because we are anti this climate change apocalypse narrative, that we are anti-environment. Before I before I actually got into politics, what I wanted to do was I was going to be a large animal vet or a zoologist. I mean, that's been my passion forever, is with animals and things. So I care about these types of issues a lot, actually. And so I start with talking to people about, first of all, nuclear energy, because I think you can have a really good conversation starting there and there.
So far, he's correct. We do need nuclear energy. This is a good point. He is 1 for 1. Will Whit, 1 out of 1. We're very proud.
Saying, do you know how much waste is actually produced by nuclear energy in this country? It's about the size of a football field. In total, of all time, it's about the size of a football field and 500 feet high. It's like so small, and people won't know that, or how much less it costs to have nuclear energy, or the space that it takes to have nuclear energy. Ask them if they know that to power the entire United States with wind and solar, or just power Texas with wind and solar, it would cost the size of Harrison County, which is Houston and all its surrounding suburbs.
Right.
And so you can ask them questions like this about the actual costs and size of renewable energies, and look, you can even level with them. You would love that renewable energies could work. You would love if wind and solar energy could work, but it's just not in the cards right now. And so asking questions about these.
Okay, you can't say that. You can't just be like, oh, it's not in the cards right now, and it's not financially viable right now, and therefore we just give up. And therefore, we don't try to make it become financially viable. You must comprehend that. You must recognize that, okay. So let's just think about climate change for a second. I'm gonna take a far right perspective here, because as you know, they call me Jonah the centrist, right? That is what I am. I am deeply centrist. When you think of a spectrum of the political ideologies, right? You have the floopity and the floppity. You have the libertarianism down on the low. You have the authoritarianism up in the high, right? You have the left, you have the right, you have the bloopity bop, right? I'm directly in the center. That's what I am. I'm directly in the center. So anyway, I will take the right-wing perspective for a moment. Let's say, right, that there is a 50% chance that climate change is real, okay? And let's say that there is a 20% chance that climate change is real and is genuinely a serious existential threat to the world. Okay. 20% chance, that means 20% chance. Let's not even go with 20. Let's go with 10% chance, right? Let's just make it very, very clear. 10% chance that climate change is actually an existential threat to the world, right? Okay. If that's the case, we have this thing, it's called insurance, right? And under insurance, if you have, let's say, $1 million home, wowza, what a nice house, right? You have $1 million home, and there's a 10% chance that your house is going to get flooded, right? Now, how much money, if you thought there was a 10% chance that your house was going to get flooded, your $1 million house was going to be absolutely destroyed in the free marketplace of ideas. No, I'm just kidding. Physically destroyed, okay? Like not in a video game. Anyway, so it's going to destroy your house. There's a 10% chance that your house is going to be completely destroyed. And your house is worth $1 million. Well, how much money are you willing to give to the insurance company to make sure that if that happens, you're going to be fine and dandy? Well, so the practical answer should be $100,000, right? Because you want to make sure you're not risk neutral. You're very risk averse, right? The chances of your house being completely destroyed, in this case, we're not just talking about house. We're talking about much more important than the house, right? We're talking about people's lives, right? If climate change is really as bad as a lot of climate scientists seem to think that it is, then a lot of people are going to die. And hear me out, I don't want to die. Why don't I want to die? Because I have a really enjoyable time living, okay? Because society is fantastic. If I were dead, how could I possibly look at the luscious curls of Will Witt? Therefore, we must not die, okay? Therefore, if there's a 10% chance that we're all going to die, we need to spend 10% of all of the money in the world in order to protect ourselves against dying, okay? 10% of all of the money in the world is a lot of money. I'm not even asking to spend 10% of the money in the world. All I'm asking is to spend like 2% of the money in our country, okay? Probably less than that, realistically, but that's like where we want to start the conversation, at like 2% of it, right? And I also want to get a carbon dividend. A carbon dividend, right? Universal basic income for everyone. It's going to eventually get to a point where it's upwards of $300 a month. We have a whole video on the carbon dividend, which is separate from this, but it's a fantastic video, and you should go watch it. I think we'll probably link it below. Yes, it will be linked below. I have decided it will be linked below. Right down there, there is a video about the carbon dividend. But anyway, back to this video, the one that we're watching currently, such I'm making currently. So this video is going to be explaining that, like, we need to spend money. And the idea that we wouldn't is insane. Even if we grant that he is 90% sure that he's right, he still shouldn't be saying the things that he's saying, because it doesn't make sense based on the fact that there might be a 10% chance that he is wrong. You have to be 100% certain that climate change is fake. Not just like 90%, but 100%. Because if you're only 90% sure, then you should still be willing to spend trillions of dollars protecting ourselves against climate change. The idea that you have to be 100% certain of climate change in order to be concerned about climate change is insanity. It is stupidity. I refuse to permit the stupidity to continue. We continue the video.
The actual practicality of those solutions versus nuclear, which has basically been proven to work very well.
We agree.
I think you can actually get a lot done there.
Yeah, it always strikes me that you know you're talking to an unserious environmentalist if they won't embrace nuclear energy.
Right.
It's somewhat, you know, we've had Michael Schellenberger on the program before.
Oh, he's great. He was in our documentary, Religion of Green, that we made with PragerU.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
He's great, such a smart guy. And you know, you're immediately open to his arguments because of the nuclear power thing. You could tell he's serious about it.
Right.
Right. Here's an actual sustainable piece of of the energy picture that's not fossil fuels. Zero.
If the message is going to be about nuclear energy, yeah, I agree. Nuclear energy is great. People who disagree with nuclear energy are fools. Don't let the foolish people, there are a lot less of them than there used to be. There was a time when there were a bunch of like nonsense people who pretended. I remember. Is that true? I'm like 90% sure that my environmental science, my AP environmental science teacher in high school, I'm pretty sure she didn't support nuclear energy, which is just craziness. I just can't imagine, unironically, not supporting, it's just like, nuclear energy is so based and red-pilled. Right? In the words of Will Witt, it is just so based and red-pilled. And on this particular topic of nuclear energy, he is correct. It is in fact based and red-pilled. If you get nothing else out of this video, I want you to get two things. One, we need to support the carbon dividend. And two, nuclear energy is based and red-pilled. Thank you very much. Au revoir. Mwah.